It's very often the case that when you have someone in custody who you care about and you're trying to figure out how to bond them out, you don't know where to start. So let me help you out. The first thing you're going to want to do in most cases is to bond your friend or family member out. And to do that, you've got a couple of options. You can post a cash bond, which means you're putting up the entire amount of the bond with the county or the arresting agency to secure the release of the person. You can also use a bondsman. Now, what a bondsman's going to do is they act as a surety. They're promising the court that the person is going to appear in court, and they're going to charge you a fee for that service. And what's the service they're providing? Well, you're not having to put up the entire amount of the bond. Instead, you'll put up, let's say, 20% of the face value of the bond to get this service. Now, bondsmen, based on that contract, can add additional conditions that you have to live by, such as reporting, checking in with them, physically going down to their office, and that can become burdensome. So the two factors you're considering in selecting a bondsman are price and what that bondsman requires of the person in terms of reporting and other expectations. When should you be talking to an attorney? Well, you should be talking to an attorney around the same time. Although getting your friend or family member out of custody is of the utmost importance, an attorney can do a number of things. Advise you as to what's happening, help you if there are any undue delays that can get in front of a judge and try to get your friend or family member out. They can follow the appropriate motion with the court to have a bond amount reduced or to address conditions of bond that you believe are either unreasonable or present too great of a difficulty to comply with. An attorney is also going to help you if there's some sort of hold. In other words, if there's an immigration hold, your attorney can advise you on what to expect, whether or not you need to consult with an immigration attorney. If there's an out-of-state hold, the attorney can help you with what that means in terms of possible extraditions. You might also have a situation where your friend or family member is arrested on a type of warrant that does not allow a bond to automatically be set. An example of that would be someone was on probation and now their probation can be revoked. Well, in that situation, a bond will not automatically be set when the person sees the judge. Instead, an attorney must approach the judge and ask the judge to have a bond set. So there are certainly instances where an attorney is needed essentially as soon as you need the bondsman. And it's always smart to call an attorney at least immediately after you call the bondsman, but oftentimes it makes sense to call the attorney first because the attorney knows that area better than anyone else. They can point you to, for example, a bondsman that is not going to have onerous conditions once your friend or family member gets out of custody. They can tell you who's down at the courthouse every day and can get your friend or family member out of custody the most efficiently. And they're the ones who are going to know that local jurisdiction to know what's an unreasonable period of time, what's outside the norm. And they can help you set expectations of when should I expect a phone call? Should I expect a phone call? When is my friend going to see the judge? And when will my friend or family member actually get out of custody? That varies greatly jurisdiction to jurisdiction. Additionally, if your case is in warrant status, that means you haven't been arrested yet. It definitely makes sense to call an attorney first who can walk you through things like, hey, would the judge ever allow me to answer this warrant without physically being in custody? That's sometimes called a walkthrough. Or is this a jurisdiction where that's essentially an impossibility? Ultimately, unless you're putting up a cash bond and therefore eliminating the need for a bondsman completely, you are really going to need the services of both an attorney and a bondsman. Now, there are some attorneys who make attorney bonds. This is where the attorney acts as the bondsman and as the attorney. However, this type of a relationship creates the possibility of a conflict. So our firm doesn't do that. Here's the conflict. A bondsman's obligation is to get you to court, no matter what. An attorney's obligation is to defend you. So if you're in a situation where you have not shown up to court or you're running an hour late, your attorney can protect you if they're acting only as your attorney. But if they're also your bondsman, it's your attorney's job to get you there, tell the court why you're not there, and have to potentially admit things that would otherwise be protected by privilege. It puts the attorney in a position where they can't do everything humanly possible to keep you out of custody. Imagine a scenario where I have a client who missed a court date or is running late to court or has a warrant out for their arrest. My job as a criminal defense attorney is to try to keep them out of custody, even if it's in a warrant status. A bondsman or an attorney bondsman is going to say, well, I have a job as a bondsman, and that's to make sure this person answers for the warrant. I need to get them to court, as opposed to a criminal defense attorney who might be able to convince a judge to recall the warrant, or to say, Judge, I have him here. He's in the hallway. He came here knowing that he could be taken into custody, but here are all the reasons why I'm asking you not to take him into custody. So you have a lot more power as a criminal defense attorney if you are not also a bondsman. I would caution against using someone who acts both as a bondsman and as an attorney. If you've been charged with a criminal offense in North Texas, give us a call at 817-203-2220. We're here to help, and we have a lot of experience helping folks out in exactly this situation.